In the last video, I showed you how to make the green puzzle piece for this puzzle cube design. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make the other 4 pieces. First thing I'm going to do is go to File, New, and I'm going to do a standard part file. Now I'm going to create a 2D sketch on the XY plane, so that'll be the front of our piece. I'm going to make this red piece first. It might be a little hard to see, but it's kind of like a J shape. So I'm first going to start by using the rectangle tool and making sure it's attached to the origin. You can see that by the green dot. So the 2 yellow dots combine to that green dot. So I'm going to move this over. And our dimensions here are going to be 0.75 for each individual cube. And for this piece right here, actually I'm going to tip it, is this section right here that I'm drawing. And then the next section I'm going to draw in is going to be this block and this one. So this is 2 blocks wide, 1 block tall. Alright, so I'm going to make that again. Make sure it connects. And I'm going to do the same dimensions. Alright, and I'm going to do the same thing for these last 2. Alright, so this is why I said it kind of looks like a J shape. When it's tipped, you can see how it's going to look in the puzzle, but this is why I referred to it as kind of a J puzzle piece. So I'm going to finish my sketch. Remember, if you press home on the keyboard, it kind of zooms in or out depending on where you are so you can see your entire object at the same time. So now I'm going to press extrude. Unlike when we did the green puzzle piece, where for most of the time I was able to select everything automatically, we have 3 different shapes here. So Autodesk Inventor doesn't know which one we want to extrude. It happens to be that we want to extrude all of them. So I'm going to have to click on all 3 first before changing our distance here. If you change the distance first and then try to click on them, it doesn't always work the way you want it to, so you might have to cancel and then try again. So for this one, our depth, for this one, or our distance is going to be 0.75 because it's just 1 block wide. Okay, so this part is done. It can now be colored, so we're going to go to where it says default over here. And for this one, I'm just going to do, let's see, that's a good red. So I'm going to use this one for the red. Okay, and then I can save this piece. Just how I named my green puzzle piece last time. Now I can just call this red for the end and then save. So the next piece I'm going to do is now the yellow one. So new, standard, and there's kind of 2 ways you can think of making this part. One way is kind of how you have an L shape here, and then you have this last little add-on, or you have these 3 pieces, and then you have these 2 that are the add-on. For this one, I'm going to do these 3 first, and then add on the next 2. So I'm going to do a front sketch, and this one I want to see it from the top, so I'm going to use the XY plane. Yeah, if you click and drag, that's kind of what I did here, you can actually move your plane to a different spot. So sometimes it's helpful for what you're doing. When it's the first one you're going to do, you don't actually want to do that because then it changes it from the 0 origin point. So that's why I had to back out of that and then try again. So for this one, I am now going to draw a box that's kind of 2 units by 2 units. Okay. And now I need to remove a little chunk from it. So I'm going to draw another rectangle from here to here. Now I got to add in my dimensions. Okay. So you can see now I have this 3 block section and a 1 block section. So I'm going to finish my sketch and extrude. Okay, so you might be able to see that on your screen, maybe not, but each one of these is being highlighted just slightly. So I just want the 3 section. And now I got to change this to one of our block units. So that would be 0.75. Then I can click OK. Alright, so now I gotta add on these two pieces right here. So I can start my sketch on this top surface. Project geometry. So we have our values from before kind of pulled into this sketch. So instead of having to dimension, I can use the rectangle tool. Click on that corner, click on this corner, finish. And I like to just double check to make sure I put it in the right spot. Because if you're doing this and not paying attention, you might put it over here instead of over here. So now we can extrude. Again, it's a little confused on what you want, so you got to tell it. And this time, instead of being just 1 block tall, we want it to go up 2 blocks tall. Or, well, 2 of these little blocks. So this is now our piece. So this one we're going to go to default. The best yellow that I like in here is smooth yellow. Might be a little bright for some people, but I think it looks okay. Alright, so I'm going to save this piece now. Alright, our next piece now is going to be this blue one, because the green one's already done in the previous video. So we're going to go to New, Standard Part File, and this is one that we can do very quickly. Like I was saying before with this yellow one, how you can do it as an L and start from there. You're actually going to make that same L shape that I was talking about, except for instead of adding on that extra little block, you're just going to draw the L by itself. So I'm going to go on the XY plane. Remember, you always want to make sure you connect it to the origin. Okay, because remember we have these blue lines and these green lines. We want everything to turn that blue color when you're done. If it doesn't turn that blue color, then it can kind of shift around on you and you might not end up having the object you want at the end. So here's these 3 blocks right here. We have that 1 block left. And just like in the previous video, for getting the information from other dimensions, you can just put the dimension in and then click on it. Because remember, if you change this one right here, these will also change. So I'm just going to do that real quick just so I can show you again in case you forgot. So you can see how everything just changed for those, but if I change it back, everything's back to how it was. So I can finish my sketch. And click extrude, go to both of these, and then my distance. Alright, so that part is done other than the color. For this one, I found that this one over here, blue wall, paint, glossy. That's a good blue for this project. Alright, so again we're going to save. Alright, so that's our L, and then we have our last piece. That is this kind of fish looking piece. So again, File, New, Part File, Standard. Alright, we're going to create our sketch. Again, I like to use the XY plane. Alright, and then I'm going to make just this 4 section first. So I can make this 2 units by 2 units, which is 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. Alright, now we got to add kind of the fins to our fish. So I'm going to go from this corner and add in one of our fins. Remember, I'm going between the 2 of these by pressing tab on the keyboard. Now add in our second fin. Alright, so we kind of have our fish. Kind of looks like a fish on its side. Alright, so we're going to now extrude all 3 shapes. Alright, and change the color. Let's see. Yep, there's a good purple. Alright, so smooth dash purple. Alright, now we can save this last one. Oops. Alright, so now we have all of our puzzle pieces all made. So in the next video, I'm going to show you how to assemble your puzzle cube into a cube.